Welcome back. As climate uncertainty intensifies, technology is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. From devastating floods in Malaysia to extreme weather across the ASEAN region, the question is no longer if disasters will happen. But in fact, the question is how prepared are we? To explore how science, engineering and innovation can help societies withstand a changing climate, joining us today is His Excellency Dr. MASAHIKO HORIE, former ambassador of Japan to Malaysia and a key figure behind Malaysia-Japan technological collaboration. Welcome, Doctor. It's good to have you with us, especially on such an important discussion as well. Malaysia and several ASEAN countries have recently experienced devastating floods and extreme weather. And beyond just blaming climate change, many experts are now arguing that the real problem lies in how our systems perform under pressure. So from an engineering perspective, where did systems fail most in the recent disasters we've seen in terms of data sensing, system integration, infrastructure design and even automated decision making?
Hi, thank you. Good afternoon. In case of Japan, very often the delays in the initial response by the national government and local authorities, as well as insufficient coordination among agencies, are criticized. Critics also argue that lessons from past disasters have not been fully applied, particularly regarding sanitation, availability of toilets, beddings, and privacy in shelters where victims took temporary refuge. In many cases in Asia, the failure seems occurring due to poor decision-making, inconsistent risk communication, and weak governance. Systems often failed because of lack of understanding, limited human resources, and knowledge. It is also pointed out that the current systems fail to consider local culture, local knowledge, and local needs. Humanizing technology is a way forward to enhance our disaster risk management. In other words, it is crucially important to make technology more humane, more ethical, and more people-centered.
Well, often we hear about satellites and AI, artificial intelligence and smart sensors, yet disasters still catch cities off guard. Technologies like AI forecasting, satellite monitoring and even IoT sensors, they already exist. But what is preventing them from working together as a complete disaster prediction system within ASEAN today?
As you know, disaster is complex in nature, diverse, and locally different in impact. Among others, data and information are critically needed to design a complete disaster prevention system. The past is a key to the future. We need to incorporate past disasters events, lessons learned, to improve the disaster risk management. Local, traditional, indigenous knowledge is also an important added value to the scientific and technical system. Together with this knowledge, astronomy, meteorology, hydrology, followed by hydraulic engineering and civil engineering should be integrated, and we should not forget nature-based solutions too. Japan has been appealing to the world Satoyama Initiative to achieve circular and green economy, mitigating natural disasters. Satoyama means mountain, river, village, and ocean. By keeping a healthy mountain with forest, which absorbs lots of CO2, maintain tons of raindrops and make better soil, mitigating landslides, bring nourishment to the fishes into the river, and offer water to villagers, and bring more nourishment to the ocean, which evaporates again and bring rainfalls in the mountain. Many surveys show cases where nature-based solutions offer better shield than hard concrete infrastructures.
Well, Japan is known for world-class disaster engineering, from earthquake systems to even early warning technologies. Which Japanese disaster technologies would you say are most suitable for a tropical region like Southeast Asia, especially now with what we're seeing, floods and heat waves and even storms?
Well, advanced and modern technology in a disaster world is ranging from mapping and monitoring to early warning and to prevention. Disaster technologies can be fully utilized in the phase of preparedness, prevention before the event, response during the event, and recovery and rehabilitation after the event. Cost effectiveness, rapid mobilization, easy to use, and high impact are the indicators for the better DRR humanized technology. As you know, very strong torrential rains and floodings assaulted Kelantan over 10 years ago. The government of Malaysia took it seriously and began setting an institution, organizing organizations to tackle with damages and enhance preparedness among local people to cope with natural disasters. It was a very wise political decision because increasingly critical climate change would not exempt the lucky safe country, Malaysia. As early as 2015, NADUMA was established to oversee disaster management in the country, centralizing responsibilities that were previously dispersed across various ministries and agencies. In parallel to this, in the academic domain, Disaster Preparedness and Prevention Center, DPPC, was set up at MJIIT, Malaysia-Japan International Institute of Technology, because Malaysian government considered it was the best academic institution in garnering experiences and know-hows from Japan. Alhamdulillah, it was a right decision. And we got a super professor named Kamarulu Azahari, who is a very active and erudite scholar, well-versed in DRR, disaster risk reduction. He is lecturing at MJIT, and in fact, he is a champion of DRR in Malaysia. Professor Kamarul is now in consultation with JICA and Japan Bosai platform to establish similar version of Bosai platform in Malaysia to promote Bosai approach and strengthen partnership for DRR investments in both public, private sectors, academia, and civil society. By the way, Bosai means disaster prevention in Japanese.
Well, in countries like Japan, Doctor, entire cities are simulated digitally to predict how floods, earthquakes, or heat waves may impact them. But how realistic is that for Malaysia and even ASEAN cities to adopt technologies like so? We're talking things like digital twins, predictive modeling, and even real-time urban monitoring within the next 5 to 10 years.
I think, yes, it is quite realistic. Investing into prevention and preparedness is the key. We shall adopt and adapt technologies that mutually benefit the vulnerable communities. However, digital twins, predictive modeling, and real-time urban monitoring and other new emerging technologies require good human resources, capable disaster managers, professionals, and practitioners. During last 1 decade, MJIIT has invested into human capital development through systematic higher education program in disaster risk management, master's degree and PhD in disaster risk management, as well as certified professional training.
Well, in today's world, data is often described as the new shield against climate disasters. How close is ASEAN as a bloc, as a region, to building a shared disaster data system that can connect satellites, sensors, climate models, and importantly, emergency response all into one platform?
Yes, I believe so. At a regional level, ASEAN through AHA Center has developed already one integrated data system, so-called the Disaster Monitoring and Response System, for managing large-scale disaster operations. AHA Center is an intergovernmental organization established by the 10 ASEAN member states with the aim to facilitate cooperation and coordination of disaster management amongst ASEAN member states. JESSY?
That's right. Well, if engineers in ASEAN...
Our next question, I would like to emphasize at this juncture that we need to seriously double or triple our efforts to tackle climate change by mitigation, by reducing greenhouse gases emissions. For that purpose, technological inventions are keenly demanded, for instance, in the expansion of renewable energy, invention of green biofuel, development of artificial photosynthesis, and so on. Asia is the most dynamic region with vibrant economies, and Asia's CO2 emission is 60% of the world global emission. Today, we are the most responsible to the climate change. Unless we achieve carbon neutral economy or green society by reducing our GHG emission, we human beings is destined to be decimated at best. We are an endangered species. We humans are to be blamed rather than climate change, which is only the consequence of human actions. We humans need to save our climate. Thank you, Jessie.
Well, Doctor, before I let you off, and of course with what you've just shared with us in mind, if engineers in ASEAN could prioritize only one area, whether it's early warning systems, resilience infrastructure, or automated response technologies, which would you say should come first? In an age of climate uncertainty, resilience, of course, will be defined by the choices that we decide and make today.
I think main priority should be the end-to-end early warning system with a good risk communication system to reduce disaster losses. It should integrate 1. Hazard detection, monitoring, and forecasting by sensors and satellite. 2. Warning dissemination by SMS, TV, radio, sirens, etc. And 3. Community response with preparedness, understanding the warning and know which actions to take. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It's been a pleasure hearing your insights and, of course, your recommendations as we move forward as well. I hope to speak to you again. That was Dr. MASAHIKO HORIE, of course, sharing his insights on climate uncertainty and how we can navigate this terrain.